What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew, Shy, Kelvin, and Jermaine, and for everyone who's tuning in. I hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make this show the best that it can be. Man, oh man, oh man. Whoever saw this coming? Whoever saw this coming? That's why I say, man, the NBA is ultimately in good hands despite of the league acting against its own interests, trying to maintain and continue to promote this player empowerment super team era. It's done with. It's done with. Fundamentally, it's done with. And what I mean is, if an organization allows itself to be patient and to incrementally build a team, you never know what you can achieve. You may actually exceed your expectation. And perfect example is the Indiana Pacers, who won a season opener versus the Washington Wizards in grand fashion by the score of 143 to 120. You look at this box score right here. First of all, look how they, just a couple years ago, how they were one of the bottom teams of the Eastern Conference. After, being in a position where they had to start over because they were stagnant and mediocre at best. So they started to rebuild. And remember, one of the key steps that they made was they traded Domantas Sabonis to the Sacramento Kings, a trade that helped both teams, improve both teams. And he brought in Tyrese Halliburton, who was part of Team USA FIBA basketball tournament this summer. And a Buddy Hield, although he's streaky, if he's hot, he can hit from anywhere. But then they started drafting players like Benjamin Mathurin out of the university. I want to say Arizona. 2 years of college, and he was one of the top rookies in the NBA last year behind Pablo Pichero. And they had mainstays like Miles Turner, right, from years before. Then they drafted they had T.J. McConnell on the team, and then they drafted rookie Nembhard, who hit a game-winning 3-point shot versus the Lakers last year. And that now you're starting to see they made great moves during the offseason, acquiring Obi Toppin from the Knicks, and then Bruce Brown, who helped the Denver Nuggets win their first NBA championship this past season. And you look at this box score, and just look at it. Bruce Brown with 24 points, Tyrese Halliburton with 20 points, 11 assists, Buddy Hield with 14. Like they hold starting five scoring double figures. Benjamin Mathurin, 18 points. Obi Toppin, Miles Turner, 11 points. And then you get the bench production. Nembhard, 12 points, 10 assists. Jay Smith, 13 points. And you look at a team like this, man, that's a playoff team. That's a team that can, potentially advance, at least for this year. They can make a run and possibly go to the second round of the playoffs. You look at this team right here, and you look at the Miami Heat team who just went to the finals, and you look at this roster from top to bottom, who would you say is better? I could argue and say that the Pacers are the deeper team and the better team, at least on paper. At least on paper. But this is what I'm talking about. When an organization, see, these teams are starting to figure out you don't have to go for broke. You ain't got to throw all your chips in the middle of the table. You can incrementally build your team, mainly through the draft starting out. Then you start adding the necessary pieces to complement and bolster the roster to where before you know it, man, you can start competing. To be a contender in your conference. To one day, who knows, you may vie for a championship. So this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. And the Indiana Pacers is going to be a good team this year. They could potentially win close to 50 games this year because they have talent in their team now. They have a legitimate guard. They have a legitimate guard. Now you got Bruce Brown at the 2 guard. He's proven he can help you win. Obi Toppin is athletic. He kind of reminds you a little bit of an Aaron Gordon type player. You know, you still got Miles Turner, who's an excellent shot blocker. You know what I'm saying? He can space the floor and hit the 3. You know what I'm saying? So now you have more balanced scoring, man. This is how you do it. This is a purpose of what I'm talking about. Particularly small market teams, they've gotten smarter. They've gotten smarter. They've looked at what has happened to certain teams over the recent 3-4 years and see how their rosters become unpredictable and in flux. You're better off just simply building a team piece by piece and then let the chips fall where they may. And if your player is a star player, then if he proves that he can lead your team to, as they say, the promised land as the best player, versus who he's going up against, that's how you do it. You do not succumb and capitulate to one player because in the end you're going to lose. So I just want to drop that real quick, man. Like I said, Indiana Pacers, they're going to be good this year. They have improved. Man. So they got a good future for themselves. And Indiana's always been one of them teams that have been, especially during the Reggie Miller years and whatnot, and then later on during the Paul George years, they've been historically a good playoff team. You know what I'm saying? They can compete. But this Indiana Pacers team, to me, is deeper than the Paul George led teams back in the 2010s. With David West and George Hill and Roy Hibbert and Danny Granger. You know what I'm saying? This team, to me, is deeper. So I just want to drop that real quick, man. Like I say, NBA is here. So it's time to rock and roll. But until next time, this is Jake B for BTB Behind the Bench.